Hello everybody. Have you ever spent a lot of time working away at your favorite project of the day and making a video and then editing such video and posting it, all the time knowing that there's something that you could have done differently? Well, that just happened last night. I ended up going to night class on the University of YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Milt. You're watching Bijan Living Like a Boss, and last night I just had to watch a few videos on YouTube about such air leak problems on your treadle valve or any other valve that's inside the cab of your truck. Me being a truck driver, I've known that sound a few times over my lifetime, and it's never the obvious sound or problem that you think. Like, there is not a leak in your cab. It's always related to your frame, where you got relay valves and so on and so forth, hoses, supplying air or delivering air, even onto the trailer, your glad hands, or your, going onto the trailer. So those are the problems that occur and cause a hiss out of the exhaust port of your treadle valve. The 922B here is of no exception. So after a schooling last night, I come back on down here to the 922B. Instead of over across the way there at the Auto Patrol, I'm back on the 922B. And I have come up with quite a few more problems, none of which has to do with the treadle valve at this point. Number one, this is a hydraulic hose that was fabricable with different adapters and whatnot to replace one of the burst air lines years ago. We're not going to use that. I just decided to pull that off and went and got myself another brand new authentic air hose. Already got it rigged up with a crossover here. This goes to the metal part, the steel line that goes right to the brake pot that runs the master cylinder for the brakes. And this goes right into the relay system. So that was one problem that was not causing a leak, that's for sure, but I just wanted to replace that hose because it was bothering me. So I did air the system right back up this morning, and I took the advice of almost all the videos out there. You got to trace back when you got a hiss or an air leak in your treadle valves. You got to trace it back to what is bypassing. So what I did was I used the vice grips. There are four charge hoses, or two charging hoses coming from the tank. And from the tank is two steel lines. This is actually got two tanks in one, but it's actually compartmented. There's two actual tanks, one for one treadle valve, the other for the other treadle valve. So they got two steel lines going to from the tank up to the relay system. This particular steel line is missing the end. When I crimped off a couple of the hoses, these actually finally burst. They were leaking, but they finally burst. They broke. Look, they're so darn rotten. So we're not using that. This other matching line, there are two of them, and I forget where it is. I think it's up in this corner right here. It's got a pinhole in it. So both lines were leaking. So they're garbage. So the old 922B is stepping into the 21st century, or 22nd, whichever one it is. We're going ultra modern. So I got the red hose here And that is the primary, like the pressure delivery from the tank to your air system. I got fittings to match. I already got them mounted in the tank and at the relay system. And we're just going to cut this. This is about 20 feet. Well, it is 20 feet. And I'm going to snake this along through the railing and replace those two lines. And we're going to tie this line together there. There should be no leaks from the tank to the relay system at least. So let's go ahead and get on that. That didn't really take too long there. I got those red lines tied to the tank with the proper fittings. And we'll just go on up onto the front, the working end of the machine here where they end up. And in here, that's where the two lines come in to that regulator system there, solid cast iron, pretty heavy duty, old style. I do have a chunk of red line left, which is going to be finally routed into the powertrain interrupt. I don't know what you call that, but it's to, when you press that left treadle, it's supposed to disengage the, power to the transmission or whatever, so you can engage your foot throttle and rev up for faster hydraulics, lifting a bucket, dumping your bucket, etc. And when you got all that done, well, you take your left foot off of that far treadle, and yeah, you go back to normal operation, put it in reverse or wherever you're going to go, and do whatever you need to do. At any rate, so it sure fixed a lot of problems. There is no more exhausting out of the right foot treadle, which is this line, and it seems to function the pot on this side down in there. And that brake reservoir, just let's see if we can get a little closer. Yeah, that brake reservoir close to the red line there. And then the other treadle valve operates that other reservoir on the far side. But this one, it seems to be working properly, so we're going to leave it connected. But this one here, I'm going to disconnect it and we'll air it up, and you'll see that it just constantly exhausts through that pipe, which is, I believe, related to that treadle valve over there. So underneath this first relay or shuttle valve or whatever you call it down there, I'm going to remove that and see if there's a problem inside it. So let's air it up. Okay, I got it aired up enough. So that's all it's going to air up. It's just leaking down now, but you can hear when I put my finger on that port that there's air coming out of there, and it should not be coming out of there at all, being the treadle valve's in the neutral. And it doesn't really seem to make any difference when I function the treadle, but the treadle is not exhausting through the bottom anymore. It's exhausting through here. And when I plug it up, now you can hear it exiting out the bottom of the treadle. So I think I got to take this here fixture out of there and clean it up, do something with it, check it out anyway. So that's the next project. I do have the air line hooked up from behind the bottom part of this treadle valve, and it goes on over to this here device here to neutralize the power to the wheels, I believe. And as soon as you press this, there's air going to there, and you can hear it exhausting. Down here, I got it disconnected because this is all seized up. This is a little foot switch that goes on the floor plate. You press it with your foot and it'll blow the horn. There's a horn up between the two front wheels there underneath the shrouds. So I got to remove this if I remove it right now, it'll just exhaust air straight out that line. There you can hear it. And it's amazing how when you open up another way for the air to escape, the other leak stops. So digging further, got to understand this system. Well, there's the I don't know what you're going to call it, a shuttle valve, a regulator valve, or something or other. We're going to clean her up and get it opened up and see what we got going on in there. On top of that one valve that I took off from this port, I just disconnected the whole darn assembly and brought it up to the shop here so we can tear it apart, all completely apart, and clean up the whole thing, get rid of all the oil and sludge and whatnot that's in every part of it. So then we can start from that, knowing that everything has been washed out. In my hand right now, apparently, was the source of a lot of my problems. This is the secondary port out of your left-hand treadle valve, and the exhaust valve part of that assembly was totally seized up. I had to take it all apart, maneuver it, and work it until it became free, and clean her up the best we could and get her all back together. And yeah, so the previous University of YouTube lessons were totally invalid. In this case, being that this is the only actual complicated part of the system, this is what was giving me the problems. There's no relays or other types of valves and so on and so forth. These two valves are the system. So it just happened to be the exhaust port on this side was given quite a bit of problems. That outside of burst air lines, leaking air lines, so on and so forth, we managed to get this thing back together and put it on the machine. And the results were positive.
I don't even need a socket there, just the back end of this Saskatchewan socket set. The hole in the back end of the socket, Saskatchewan socket set. A little bit. Moving now. You might be not never to use one. Sure will. Ready. Hopefully not that much damage. Yeah, but I have to clean some of this up. The brass brush. Well, no. Well, I do if I can find one. I've got this here. Well, parts bucket, yeah. That's cleaned up pretty good right now. There we go. Well, now you can't keep up, right? Well, it is supposed to. Look at that. Yeah, okay. Oh, no, you can't. Okay, not necessary. All right, don't disturb this here. No. Right, that was almost well, that was over. Going on again. That was seized up. And I'm not going to touch the other one because it works well, yeah. the new eyeball that little flange is not quite flush, so it wasn't going back. Well, last time I was thinking anyway, they talked about it, all right, then it goes in like that. We can always rewind the tape. No, they were shit. All right. That sounds like something. Sounds better. There we go. No, don't look at me there. Well, that was the same. Yeah, that's this is gonna function from the inside. Yeah, yeah. Looks like this one. There, it goes down. Yeah, looks like pretty close here. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. These I think are $600, $700. Okay, well, if you don't, you don't. Or if you get clean, clean. Well, exactly. Spring here. Nope, this spring just pushes that piston up against its body, this flange. That's right. That porch, right there. Oh, line up with that. The indicator. Line up with the line rubber. No, this is the fight. This is the thing. Yes. That's how you get press down there. So I would take that radio off the auto. Take this. I got this one. I work with this one. The little pole there. Yes. Bolt. Sliding down. I think you're probably better. You take this with me. Press it down there. Just slide this in the cab. I'm going to bolt it. Just two red lines there. Well, that's easy. Yeah, we're trying to get something harder. I was going to get some sort of mantle rig up. Take these out. Oh, Jesus, yeah, exactly. Just take it down there. Now, unlike back in the day, there, things have changed quite a bit. No longer being yelled at for all the flashlight runs. Yeah, back in the day when they were a foot later, over like. I need more of that. You can tell that in today's generation they have not had all the flashlights there. Well, I don't. Oh, the teeth all stuck up here. Yeah. Where does it go? Oh, that's right there. Oh, that dog had to behave like this. Over home. What's he doing? Oh, he's hanging out with the back. Not doing nothing. If they're home 50 miles away, exploring. Here. Over here. Oh, no, here. Okay, now look at the TV. That's what you're looking at. Oh, jump. There, back together. Now let's keep this here. Show on the road. Oh, my, that's the other one. There. The tubing measure to put this together must have brain scrambled by the time you right? Looks like I got this, but yeah. No. But it's something. One time happened. This is not the compromise. No, it's not. Maybe something happened, broke a hole in the original. Because there's some stars on these old ones. That'd be a field repair. I was reading on the internet, there's two of these brake systems on these 922s. Okay. And this is the poorest of them. The first iteration. Yeah, because when the air tanks aren't very big and if you burst the line, you'll lose within a couple applications. So when your brakes, then you got no protection for your brakes. Perfect. You need air. So you got no air. You got no brake. Did they fail on or? So it does not apply. Yeah. Once your air's done, you're not going to apply. Oh, see, that's a safety. There's no maxes. No. But I think something else there is a combination of vacuum air pressure. So the air was lost, you still have vacuum brake. Which is better than that. Well, you almost need that otherwise. Pretty safe concern. Not that we were super concerned about that in the 50s. No, but if you're thinking, you just drop the width of the box. That too. I was reading a little bit more about the D8 cap. That 1H? Yeah. The D13000 engine was only in 4 years, 3 years of the D8. For 55 through 58. And then went to the D342. Or, well, yeah, the 13,000 was in the 30s. Oh, yeah, okay. In early cast, the 1H. Oh, 2T and like even 3T. Okay, that's serious. But, yeah, and it went from 50 something. Yeah, 58. Yeah, different kind of modifications there, but same engine. Mainly the modifications were in horsepower modifications. Yeah, all 180 horsepower. Yeah, but they started out at 115 or something. That 1H I think was just after the RV8. Okay. So we had started preparing on it. Yeah, it's not the fit. No, yeah. There it is. And we need to apply the apprentice lock. The apprentice lock, right? Yeah. Cross it. Oh, yes. Don't cross fit it. Oh, there's the sign. I mean, looms over here, right? Yeah. I'm not gonna throw off there. I'm waiting for them off. Now we'll be taking this. Looks like we got it now. Yeah, this one is what I had before. Now this one is clean. You got it. Thank you. Yeah. Not so worried about it. This one, yeah. That's also. Okay, for reverse. You backing up, tap a couple times. Yeah. Safety first.
Yeah.
I don't know if the horn works. I don't know why it wouldn't. But this particular thing was all seized right up. But it, I put a new spring in there, cleaned it up.
Yeah, it functions. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know it works because I had it on the thing once already. Okay, we'll take this down below and hook her up, see if her horn blows.
Cool.
And this don't leak, hopefully.
Well, hopefully not.
Yeah, that's asking for a lot. But we'll get ourselves all lined up. Then we'll have to have a break.
Well, it's almost happy hour.
It is. It's break time. Well, literally. Did you see what I did there? Let's have a break.
Yep.
Break time.
Breakdown.
Break time.
Try to. Yes.
Let's move on. Good morning, everybody. Well, we worked at this thing yesterday. We had it up here at the shop and we got it all cleaned up. Looks quite a bit nicer now. The main problem, I think, with this whole system was it's full of engine oil and carbon buildup, like from the engine oil, like little gritty material hanging out in all sorts of passages and pockets. All the lines and the bodies of these actuators and inside this big casting here, right full of engine oil and sediment. So it's all washed out, all cleaned up, blown out, and dried up, put back together. I got a better understanding of this thing now that I can actually see words and indicators and et cetera, of how this whole thing works. And it's a pretty simple system. To start out with, there's a main tank at the radiator end of this loader. One tank, but it's compartmentalized. It's split in half. So air comes from one half of the tank to this port. The other half of the tank supplies this port. And one line or the other supplies this T down here as the primary circuit. And this T here is the secondary circuit. Supplies live air to these actuators. The primary circuit is this one down here, closer to the foot control pedals, and the secondary circuit's up here. This here whole assembly is upside down currently. It would be inverted on the machine, so the secondary would be at the bottom, primary on the top. So what happens here is the live air goes in to feed the valves, and as there's a brake application done, this is the main brake control. This one is a brake control as well, plus it has an additional function in that it sends air to the
slave unit on the transmission to put it into gear, and then applies the brake so you can rev up your engine and quickly raise your boom or bucket or whatever you're working with there. When you don't need to be revving up at a standstill, you just release that and you start using this control unit with the throttle is right beside it. So this is the main one that gets the most use. But anyway, so the air will come out and supply both the primary and secondary circuits through these T's. And when there's an application, there is, let's see, this here is the service ports on both of them. And there's a pair of shuttle valves here. When you're using this one, it'll go down to the lower one here, and it just pushes the shuttle that way to close off the air, and it just sends air straight to the air pot that way. And then when you press further, you'll get the secondary air from the secondary system. It'll do the same thing on the next one. Push the shuttle valve that way, and you'll get air directly through here to the pot. If you're using the other one, the air is going to push the shuttle valve this way. No air will be backfed into this actuator. Instead, the secondary and primary circuits will come through these two valve bodies, which are air will go through them, but they're regulated more or less. They have orifices in their valve plates, the little discs that go back and forth. So they'll go and seal, but they'll just be a fine orifice, allowing air push on the shuttle valve this way and allow air out this way. So both front and back brakes will be functioning, providing how hard you push on your throttle valve through the primary system and or the secondary system. So that's the understanding of this thing that I've come up with. Maybe somebody can go through this thing in the video and may have a better understanding, but that's the way I understand it. This is the main valve, does most of the work all day, and this one here is a backup unit there that you have to use, to accelerate your engine on occasion to get a fast response in the hydraulics. But yeah, both these are primary and secondary. Push air this way, shuttle valve closes off this side, air goes to the pots. When this is not being used, you're going back to your main. The air will come out, push the shuttle valve this way, so no air will go back onto this side, and air will come out here to the pots. That's the way I got it. So anyway, we got to go to town. I got to get some parts for my little foot control for the air horn. Inside here is a spring that I have in the truck already, and it's been rotted and rusted, falling apart. And it goes on this hose here, which is live air all the time. And this little valve is mounted on the floor plate. So when you're going to back up, you just push on it, beeps a horn. That's a safety thing, but anyway, we're going to go to town, get some parts. And it's garbage day, so we got to do that. Then we'll catch back up to you down at the machine later on this afternoon. Well, that was the end of the last major leaks. There's still a small hiss in our assembly down there at the floor, but as you can see, the air pressure gauge Up here is well into the green. I think it's 120 pounds. They're coming up to 120 pounds, and it's holding. And then when we move on down to the foot treadle, while I had this up at the workbench, when Dave come along, well, we took apart the secondary section of that there treadle valve because it was continuously exhausting through the end of it. So what we found when we took that apart is the actual exhaust portion of the valve was plugged up with old oil and sediment and even rusted in one area like a sliding sleeve. So we got that freed up, and that sure made things work a lot nicer. So that was one of the big problems, is just so much oil and debris in these two control valves. And of course, holes in lines and you name it. It was all a disaster. So anyway, that's what we did to solve all that problem. So now I'm just going to air it down and take it out of there to work on the hydraulic side of this system.
Yeah, there you go. I think you're in focus.
All right.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for the video here, folks. On this section, it was to deal with the air leaks and the functionality of the air system in the 922B, and between Triple D, pardon me, I was going to say Triple Dave, but Triple D and myself, we managed to get that whole air system beat into shape. So now we're going to move on to the Auto Patrol 11, taking the radiator off. But anyway, if you like these videos, hang in there, subscribe, comment, and like, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.